In your book, you write that there's no faith, no courage, no sacrifice in doing what's worthwhile. What would you say to those viewers who aren't following their dreams and are stuck in their careers because they're too afraid to take risks and strive for something meaningful? Well, the first thing I'd say is that you should be afraid to take risks and strive for something meaningful, but you should be even more afraid of staying where you are. If it makes you unhappy, you'll pay the price by sitting and suffering. You might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't know. Don't be so sure about that, time flies. Yes, and if you're unhappy in your job now and don't change anything in 5 years, you'll be much more unhappy and much older. But isn't it a luxury to strive for what's meaningful? Our viewers have more, they have children, they have payments and loans. It's a luxury because we like resources. Well, I don't think I remember right now, I'm not talking about anything else. It makes you happy, it's a luxury to pursue what makes you happy, it's a moral obligation to pursue what you find meaningful, and that doesn't mean it's easy, it may require sacrifice if you need to change jobs. Let's say you have a family, kids, a mortgage, you have responsibilities, you've already taken on those responsibilities, you can't just walk away with impunity and say, I don't like my job, I quit. It's not a strategic decision, but you might have to think, this job is killing my soul, okay, what do I do about it? I need to look for another job. Nobody wants to hire me. Okay, maybe you need to study more? Maybe you need to update your resume? Maybe you need to overcome your fear of interviews? Maybe you need to improve your social skills? You need to think about these things strategically if you're going to change careers. You need to do it like an intelligent, responsible person. It might take a couple of years of effort to get it right. We humans are built to fight, we're built to confront the world, we're built to confront reality. You need a challenge, and the best way to meet it is because a challenge strengthens you. You don't need self-confidence, you need strength, and you become stronger by taking on challenges. That's how you determine your destiny in this world, you take the blows of fate and the arrows of fate, and in doing so, you become stronger. You may fail, and fate may destroy you, but that's your best chance. And you know, people have achieved incredible successes from catastrophic failures. And I'm not naive about this, I know exactly what happens to people. You're doing well in life, and then you get cancer, and 6 months later you're dead, and all the heroism in the world won't save you at that moment. But that's not the point, that's not the point. Life is limited by mortality, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't push the envelope. And compete, and you grow by competing, and you minimize the total amount of suffering in the world, and that's what you have to do, man, that's what you have to do. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today, because you need a hierarchy of improvement, you need something to strive for, and that means you'll be inferior to those who have already achieved something in this dimension. So the question is, who are you ultimately supposed to defeat? And the answer is this, you have to defeat your old self, you have to constantly try to do this, and you're in control of the situation because you had all your advantages and disadvantages, and so if you want to compete fairly with someone, then you have to compete with yourself. If you're improving, then you're competing with your lesser self. And then you might ask, what is this lesser self? This lesser self will be resentful, embittered, aggressive, thirsty for revenge and everything that goes with it. Negative moral character traits are what hinder your progress in life, so it's crucial to understand this. This is why I emphasize the idea of personal responsibility so much. Personal responsibility is a competition with yourself, a desire to be a little better tomorrow, and this improvement occurs to the extent that you are capable. This is humility. I'm an imperfect person, one have all my problems, but can L be as good as person X, is the wrong question. The right question is, can you be a little better tomorrow than you are today, even with your shortcomings? The answer is, if you have the humility to set the bar low enough, you can be better tomorrow than you are today. And you can ask, what is the right way in this world, if there is one? It's not following rules, but constantly striving to overcome your current shortcomings. And what's especially interesting is that the meaning of life lies precisely in this striving. That's what I'm explaining. And these discs too, because, like I said, the core problem is that life is tragic and difficult, very tragic and difficult for everyone, and it's also marred by malice, because no matter how tragic and difficult the circumstances, there's always some stupid thing you or someone else can do to make things even worse than they need to be. That's life, and you need an antidote to it, because constantly facing tragedy can harden you. But tragedy combined with betrayal and malice makes everything even worse, especially if it's the result of your own actions. Okay, you need something to counter that, to keep from becoming embittered and resentful. How do you counter that? By doing something worthwhile, by your own definition. Let's say you need a reason to get out of bed on a terrible day, because you have something good to do. What's the best thing you can do? Overcome your current, miserable, and pathetic self. There's meaning in that, and that meaning is tied to responsibility, one of the points I'm trying to make. Life is obviously difficult, marred by anger and betrayal, which can make you bitter. You need meaning to compensate. Where does that meaning come from? Not in a sense of superiority, not in impulsive pleasures, but in responsibility. You take responsibility for yourself, you take care of yourself. If you do that well, you have enough left over to take care of your family. If you do both well, you have enough left over to take care of your community. These are heavy burdens. You take on these burdens, and that brings meaning. The best way to take on a burden is to constantly improve, and that's where meaning lies. This meaning lies in constant self-improvement, in allowing your old self to die and your new self to be reborn. Even if everything is going very well for you now, there will be times in the future when things will be difficult. You will get sick, your family will get sick, your dream will crumble, your job security will be threatened, as if a flood were coming. The apocalypse is approaching. It always happens in life, and you need to be prepared. The question is, how do you prepare for it? The answer is to find a way of life that works even in the most difficult circumstances. You have the opportunity to gradually rise from the abyss. You have the opportunity to do what a fighter does after a defeat, say, regardless of the circumstances that may have led to my defeat, even if there were mistakes on the part of the referee, now is not the time to complain, now is the time to analyze my mistakes so I can correct them in the future. This is the right approach. The point is that your best strategic position is to understand where I am flawed and how I can correct them. This is what you have. And the thing is, you're imperfect, and you can fix that. You can do both if you set modest enough goals. I'm not saying you shouldn't set goals, and I'm not saying you shouldn't set goals, but you have to accept the fact that you can set a goal you can achieve. Achieving a goal won't bring you much glory, because if you're not at your best, a goal you can achieve tomorrow won't mean anything. Fine, but it's a lot better than nothing, and it's a hell of a lot better than bitterness, and it's a lot better than blaming someone else. It's a lot less dangerous, and you can do it, and what's cool about it is that it's one step on a very long journey, and it starts to accumulate. So a small step today means you can take a slightly bigger step the next day, and then that allows you to take a slightly bigger step the day after that, and you do that for 2 or 3 years, and you start moving forward. I don't know how many people have come up to me and said, how weird they've said, well, started making my bed, and that changed everything. It's like, yeah, you decided to strive for more, man. And the first concrete manifestation of that was you making your bed, and you're like, well, there's nothing heroic about that. But striving for more is heroic, it's something. And then you get to that level where you're not above the mess in your room, you realize you're not above it. You humble yourself to stand up straight, you're grateful for what you have right in front of you, and you take care of it, you tidy it up, and suddenly everything starts to fall into place. And one of the reasons why audiences respond to what I talk about in my lectures and in my writing is because I don't tell people they're okay the way they are. I say, no, you could be so much better than you are, and they're happy about that. You see, because if you're in a dark and terrible place, and someone tells you you're okay, you don't know what to do with it. You think, no, you're not, I'm having a terrible time, I'm desperate. You're okay the way you are. So what? That's it, that's where I am. So what do you want to tell a young person? You're 17, there's nothing wrong with you. No, you're not. You have 60 years to become better, and you could be much better. Incomparably better in so many ways, and it's in striving for that betterment that you'll find meaning in your life, and that will provide you with an antidote to suffering. But therein lies the secret: you must choose the path of discipline, although which path of discipline to choose is another matter entirely. There may be a rule may or may not be something like follow this rule. The rule may be that you must follow some rules. It's a meta rule, and the meta rule says, you must discipline yourself. The question is how to do it, but that's not really the real question. You can choose the path of discipline. That's why I often tell my clients, especially young people, they say, I don't know what to do. And that's okay, no. One knows. Go, do something. Do the best you can. Implement the best plan you have. It won't be perfect, and it will change as you go, but it will change in part because you're becoming disciplined in following it. And as you become disciplined, you become wiser, and as you become wiser, you become more and more able to articulate your thoughts. You have to start vague and unintelligible, develop a less than perfect plan, begin implementing it, and then, as you implement it, gain the wisdom to fix that imperfect plan. This is part of the process of gradual self-improvement. Imagine you only have $100,000 to buy a house. You walk in, look at the house, and think, oh my God, this house, it needs a lot of work. And that's all you have. Are you going to pretend the house is fine, or are you going to look for rot where the plumbing and stove aren't working? You have to go and see what needs fixing. It's very difficult. And to do it right, someone had to teach you, look, you are not your problems, you are something that, when faced with its own problems, can solve them. And that, in a nutshell, is the myth of the hero. The hero is someone who faces terrible, chaotic potential, tames it, and turns it into something right. That's the basic human story. But the problem is, you have to face what you don't want to face in order to fix it. So you look at all the flaws in yourself that need to be removed, that need to be let go. And this is especially important in the beginning, especially if you're not yourself, which may be the case for 95% of you. It's unpleasant, but if you know that you can overcome your problems, if you know that when you face problems, you can overcome them, then you have the faith that will allow you to do it. As for who you are, my daughter was very sick when she was healthy as a child, but especially as a teenager. She had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and when she was between 14 and 16, first her hip collapsed and had to be replaced, and then her ankle collapsed and had to be replaced. She walked around for 2 years with broken legs, taking massive doses of opiates, and could barely stay awake. And you know, there's almost nothing more directly testing your faith than a serious illness striking an innocent child, right? So this chapter is a reflection on that, and also on what to do in a similar situation, because everyone will face a similar situation at some point, you know, because you'll face illness in people you love, and you'll face crises. So this is a practical guide to overcoming those kinds of challenges. And one of the things you do when you're in a crisis is you shorten your time frame. You know, it's like you can't think about next month, maybe you can't even think about next week or even tomorrow, you know, because everything is so overwhelming right now, that's all there is. And that's what you do, you shorten your time frame until you can't handle it. And if you can't see how to get through next week, then it's next day, and if not next day, then next hour, and if not next hour, then next minute. You know, people are very resilient, and it turns out that if you're faced with adversity, you can endure much more than you think and do it without becoming corrupted. You have to be alert when you suffer, you have to be alert to the beauty of life, the unexpected beauty of life. And you have to look for those little sparks of sparkling crystal in the darkness when everything is bad. You have to look and see where it is still beautiful, where there's still something that's supportive, and you narrow the time frame and you're grateful for what you have, and that can help you get through some very dark times, and maybe even successfully if you're lucky. But even if it's unsuccessful, then maybe it's only a tragedy and not absolute hell, and you can make it. You know, in the worst situation you can only make it a tragedy and not hell, and there's a big gulf between tragedy and hell. You know, there's nothing worse on a deathbed than seeing people struggling with death. That's bad enough, but you can take that, as terrible as it is, and turn it into something absolutely unbearable. And maybe I think, and that's kind of where I ended the book, this idea is that if we all didn't try to make terrible things worse than they are, then maybe we could tolerate the terrible things that we have to put up with in order to exist, and maybe we could make the world a better place. Music, it's a constant storm of trying to figure out who you are. And you change at 26, you're all set to hustle. You're going to be a billionaire, this and that, and then one night you go to a bar, you fall in love, and that changes all your values, right? Then you have a kid, then this happens, then that, everything changes. You just have to constantly try to figure out what drives you, and not because other people are watching, not because your father wants it, and not because you said it would be this way and it doesn't seem true and your family will judge you. You just have to be as honest with yourself as possible, and that's a very difficult struggle, but when you don't do that, you create tremendous vulnerability and unhappiness. Honest conversations are redeeming for people, because if you go to a clinical psychologist whose value is negligible, you have a truth tool conversation. The conversation boils down to what's wrong with my life and what's causing it. This conversation might take a year, and here's how to fix it, and here's what a better future might look like. So it's a completely honest conversation, assuming everything's working well and all that. In this conversation, both parties are trying to improve the situation, and that's the goal. Let's see if we can have a conversation that improves things. Think one factor is resistance to the ideas of discipline and self-responsibility arises because people realize they don't do it themselves, become frustrated, and instead of looking inward, try to attack what's upsetting them. They attack your message, attack the philosophy behind it, instead of looking at themselves from the inside, objectively, and approaching the situation from a self-reflective perspective, saying, okay, I'm reacting to this because it resonates, I'm missing this aspect of my life. Is this diminishing me, or is this person pointing out something that can help me? Very few are willing to do this. Very few are willing to use this critical moment to examine their behavior and their thought processes and ask themselves whether their negative reaction to this person's message is caused by the fact that they know they're wrong. Begin the process of being more honest with yourself. This will help you make much better decisions, and it will help you in the long run. It might not be as fun or appealing in the short term, but it will put you in a much better position. Stop doing what you know is wrong. You can stop doing what you know is right, right? This is a fairly limited attempt. First of all, we won't claim that you know what is good or what is true in any definitive sense, but we will assume that there are things you do for one reason or another that you know aren't in your best interests. There's something about them that you simply know you should stop, they're self-evident to you. Other things you'll doubt, you won't know which way is up, but there are things you do that you know you shouldn't. Some of them you won't stop doing for whatever reason, you lack discipline, or maybe there's secondary gain, or you don't see it as necessary, or it's too much of a sacrifice, or you're angry, resentful, or afraid, who knows. But there's another group of things you might stop doing, and it might be something minor, so, well, stop doing that and see what happens. And what will happen is that your vision will clear. Just a little at first, and then something else will emerge that you'll also realize you need to stop doing, and that you can stop doing, and you can do it over and over again for an indefinite period of time. And you know, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll ever be able to formulate a clear and definitive picture of what constitutes truth and goodness, but it does mean you'll be able to continually move away from falsehood and evil, and you know, that's a good start. Discipline begins with waking up early, true, but that's just the beginning. Discipline is the root of all good qualities, but you shouldn't just apply it to waking up early. It's everything, daily training that makes you stronger, faster, more flexible, and healthier, disciplining your emotions so you can make good decisions, completing tasks you don't necessarily want to do but that you know will help you. That's what discipline means, taking the hard road, the uphill climb, to do what's right.